Hello, Zoe here from AQA English GCSE, and today I am looking at the theme of Christmas, rather apt given the time of year, and this being in A Christmas Carol, Dickens' famous novella, which is all about giving to the poor and scaring rich people through ghosts to share. Make of that what you will. But the whole idea is that he's trying to inculcate a sense of community and value to a Victorian readership. Remember, back in the day, in the 1800s, there wasn't the support networks that you have now. There was no NHS. You didn't really have anywhere to go. If you couldn't find work, you starved. I mean, you could go to the workhouse, there were the poor laws, but they were very rigid and very cruel. So it was a bad time to be poor. And so Dickens wrote his novella. That means it's written as a novel here, I know, but it's technically a novella because the word counts lower than a novel. But you'll see in questions it's called novel, same, it means the book. But the theme of Christmas runs throughout the whole novella. And here is a question. So this is AQA style. Now, you may have this text come up on other exam boards, but for an AQA, it'll be a 30-mark question. So double check you are indeed sitting your literature exam with AQA. And if you are, it's on literature paper 1. So you get about 50 minutes for 2 questions. And one of them will be, if you're doing this text, A Christmas Carol. So in this AQA style question, it says you've got the ghost of Christmas present is leading Scrooge through London streets. There's an extract, which I'll show you in a moment. But it says, starting with the extract, how does Dickens present ideas about Christmas? So that's really what we're looking at. Christmas. That's our question focus. And then it gives you ideas for your 30 marks. How Dickens presents ideas about Christmas in the extract, and how he presents ideas about Christmas in the novel as a whole. So you'll need to be able to draw on maybe 1 or 2 other parts of the novel where Christmas is important, where Christmas matters, okay? So my steps for success for this 30-mark question are as follows. You're going to read the question twice, starting with the extract. How does Dickens present ideas about Christmas? So always make sure you can find your your question focus. In this case, it happens to be Christmas. And think about it for a minute. So Christmas is seen as a time of giving, a time of Christian cheer, a sign of, passing of time, which people usually look back in their lives and think differently. And Dickens uses this as an opportunity to promote the poor. Read the extract you're given. We'll come to that. Mind map your ideas. So you may want to, you can annotate it, but please don't take too long because you've only got 5 minutes for steps 1 to 5, really. It's not that long. You ideally, the way you do these questions is you make sure you thought about most of the themes and characters that could come up before you get into that exam. So you've probably gone through some of this process already. And you'll see that from step 4. Mind map your ideas, draw on knowledge of your annotated text or notes on character and theme. So I did this on my literature masterclass, where I looked at taking 3 key quotes for each character, 3 key quotes for each theme, and annotating those so you knew the sort of things that you might say about them in advance. And then you'll have a mind map with lots of ideas around it, and you'll put the numbers, you'll sequence each idea in the right order last. Then, only then can you write the response, introduction, 4 or 5 middle paragraphs, and a short conclusion. And at the end, you proofread it to make sure, did I answer this question that I was actually set? Is it clear? Would an examiner understand this? So with this in mind, we've read the question twice and we thought about it. We need to go and look at the extract we're given. So I'm going to come to that. Now, this is from a York Notes. So you can find this online or in bookstores. I think I got this from. This is from, so present, it will be from stave 3. Now, stave is just another name for chapter. Because Dickens has chosen to write this story being called A Christmas Carol, the staves are a structured device. So they're a line. Each one is a line on a manuscript for music. So 5 staves makes that you can write your treble G cliff on. You can write your notes on it. If you're musical, you'll understand that. But that's where the reference stave comes from. I think on the exam papers they call it novel and they say chapter, but technically it's novella and stave in this story. Okay, so it gives you ideas. Let's have a look at the extract. So in this extract, the ghost of Christmas past is leading Scrooge through the London streets. Okay, present ideas about Christmas. So let's read it. Here we go. But soon the steeples called good people all to church and chapel, and away they came, flocking through the streets in their best clothes and with their gayest faces. That means happiest. Okay, superlative there. And at the same time there emerged from scores of by-streets, lanes, and nameless turnings innumerable, that means lots of, people, carrying their dinners to the bakers' shops. The sight of these poor revellers like a party-goer, but it means people out and about, appeared to interest the spirit very much, for he stood with Scrooge beside him in a baker's doorway, and taking off the covers as their bearers passed, sprinkled incense on their dinners from his torch. And it was a very uncommon kind of torch, for once or twice when there were angry words between some dinner carriers who had played with each other, he shed a few drops of water on them from it, and their good humour was restored directly. So jostle, this verb, can mean to sort of play with, as in, lightly joke around, but jostled can also here means conflict, maybe argued. So the spirit's dropping water on them and their good humour is restored, so they're better. For they said it was a shame to quarrel, again that verb means to argue, upon Christmas Day. And so it was. God love it, so it was. Look at this punctuation there, the exclamation marks you've got. Okay, there's quite a few devices I'm already spotting here to emphasise the joy of Christmas. In time the bells ceased, that means stopped, and the bakers were shut up. And yet there was a genial, that means kind of jolly, shadowing forth of all these dinners and the progress of their cooking in the thawed blotch of wet above each baker's oven, where the pavement smoked as if its stones were cooking too. Okay, so you've got a nice little description there. Now, Dickens is really known for his descriptions of Christmas, of the people. So what are they doing? So I'd read it again, and I just skim it now. So I'm on line 1. Church, chapel. Right, there's lots of people. Emerge from streets. So I'm seeing people coming out into the public domain. Line 5. Poor revellers. Does that mean the poor is in poverty? Yes. Sprinkled incense on their dinners. From his torch, they've got food. Uncommon. Right, so there's a bit of symbolism here. The torch for the spirit is really human kindness, or just kindness in general, really. What should be human kindness, but maybe is lacking. And he is assuaging, that means soothing them, making these people feel better. So Christmas spirit is the physical embodiment of kindness, of all the things that we think Christmas should represent. And that idea of what Christmas should represent should go in your introduction. Okay. In time the bells cease, so people have gone home, and you're starting, you've got this description of making dinner, and we're watching, and people are cooking and making. It's almost like a pageant. It's almost, it is. It's a ceremonial activity, isn't it? Cooking Christmas dinner. Now, bear in mind, someone like Scrooge, not particularly fussed about it. This is the man who in stave 1 is eating gruel. It's very grim, and for someone with so much money, he's behaving like someone who doesn't have a lot. Miserable in one little tiny room, and he's rented out most of his other rooms in the big house to businesses, so it's not got the sort of warmth of a home, has it? So you've got these ideas from it. I mean, you might want to sort of pick. I would personally go through this and I'd pick a couple of devices. Let's see if I want to try and put this into. So I'd want to pick a couple of quotes from here and put them together with this to make up a plan. Okay, so I'd read through this. Give yourselves a couple of minutes and just highlight maybe a couple of lines that you think could be used to represent Christmas. I'm suggesting something maybe about the spirit soothing people around Christmas time, and maybe something from this second paragraph here about people cooking. Okay, so I'm going to stop this, come back to it, and I want you to see if you can come up with 2 quotes, one from the top, one from the bottom, and see if you can find the technique as well. Okay, because that's the first thing. You know what you think about Christmas in your introduction. Paragraph 2 and paragraph 3 will each be a Pete paragraph with maybe some context on it about how Dickens is presenting Christmas in this part of the novella. If you found this useful, watch my next video which explains how I wrote this essay and provides the model to help you further.